Just wanted to welcome everybody and just say thanks for taking the time out of your guys' day to come join us and have some fun here tonight. And this is our 5th annual seminar that we're going to be holding. So this is our corporate headquarters for Maumee, Ohio. This is our corporate headquarters. It has all of our accounting, IT areas, and you guys can probably get a tour of the facility afterwards if you guys want to. So we have something special for you guys tonight. We have 2 LiftMaster experts here today, and we're going to be discussing residential radio controls, commercial operators, as well as the new UL 325 regulations for commercial products and residential safety. So exciting stuff. And we are going to also be streaming today's presentation live online to people all over the world. For those of you watching the presentation online, please use the chat form below the video box to ask a question during the presentation. To use, simply fill out the name, comma, your company in the name field. Type your name in the message and then push the send button to go. Your questions will be answered throughout the presentation, and if you're here in person, just wait until the end of the presentation and we'll answer all of the questions that you guys have at that time. And to get things started off, I would like to give you a quick background about the story of Service Spring Corporation. My great-grandfather, Clarence Weigel, started it in 1962 with the mindset that the customer always comes first. We are still committed today to serving our customers first and foremost. We work with multiple other suppliers to give you guys kind of the best for technical support and the best in customer service. And we are 3rd generation with my father here, Mike McAleer, and he's going to give a quick introduction. So here's Mike McAleer, CEO of Service Spring.
Thank you. I like how he says, thank you. I like how he says quick. He gets up here and talks all he wants, and he tells me I have to be quick. I am, like Matt said, 3rd generation. I'm the CEO. I've been the president for the last 21 years, so I've seen even our business really develop and grow. But one of the things that I think has been constant since day one, since my grandfather taught me, and that's about customer service and putting the people here, you guys, and the people online as #1 focus, and that is providing unequaled service through innovation. That's what we call. What does that mean? To me, it's about providing new opportunities or tools or services that you guys can use on your day-to-day basis. I'm proud of the fact that one of the things in our innovative toolbox that we provide you is some of the technology, and Matt heads up the technology side, and that's like our solutions education, solutions education is one thing. That's our educational piece. We have our solutions mobile. And we have, I think, over 5,000 applications being used right now throughout both Android and iOS. We're gonna be talking, I think Matt's gonna tell you a little later today about Solutions Connect. And Solutions Connect is kind of bringing all those technologies together, plus some additional exciting things that we're gonna bring that hopefully you can use as a tool in doing your day-to-day work. And with that, I guess I'm proud to be 3rd generation. I'm proud to have the 4th generation actively involved in the business and wanting to participate. My daughter's here somewhere. She's involved, and I have a couple other children one's not involved right now but has, and my wife's back here, which is nice. She gets zero she has to deal with me for 30 years now, so it's been a rough ride for her, but I'm really happy that she's here. And I guess with that, I wanna get on with the program. Matt, you have what's next?
Yeah. Very good. So we're going to get started with our first presentation here. Thank you for that. And our first presenter is a familiar face. She's been here before from previous seminars. Her name is Sherry Johnson. She's the radio control sales manager for LiftMaster. She began her career with LiftMaster 14 years ago in marketing, focusing on the radio control line. Sherry was a key marketing team member on many new product development teams that helped launch many LiftMaster products offered today. In 2012, Sherry was promoted to LiftMaster Sales as Radio Control Sales Manager and promoted the LiftMaster radio line with customers and consumers every day. We're glad to have Sherry back again this year to fill us in on the latest in LiftMaster's radio control accessories. Please give a warm welcome to Sherry Johnson.
Okay, I'm terrible at this kind of stuff. I am Sherry Johnson. Nice to see everybody today, and glad to be back here. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy being invited every year. I'm just going to go over some radio control updates. Quite a few of you have already heard about our radio controls or are familiar with our radio controls. I'm just going to go over some new stuff that we've got. Am I in control here? I don't know. All right, what do I point at? Oh, that might be. No, it says on. Oh, now it's on. Technology challenged with remote control. Go figure. All right, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is something that I've been trying to get out into the market for several years now, and it's our new commercial wireless keypads. These were designed for our commercial door operator line and our gate operator line, so that's a brand new product. We have two of them, and I've got samples up here. I will show them to you. So the first thing I want to talk about is some of the key features of these new products. There are two of them. One is a 5 code, a KPW5, and then a KPW 250, a 250 code. If you're familiar with our products, we had a version of these in a gray plastic. They were called the WKPs. Now they're the KPWs. The 5 code is polycarbonate, all black. The keypads are metal keypads. The 250 is got a die-cast housing. So I'll show you. This is my favorite. So this is my baby. So it's just launched Monday. So you guys are getting a little sneak peek on it. The mailing went out last week on this product, and we are now selling it. So this one's a die-cast aluminum. The nice thing about these keypads is that they are NEMA 4X rated on the electronics package. So you can mount these outside and not worry about them getting the electronics damaged. So that's the one key thing that I want to talk about on this. Like I said, they have metal keys, and they are keyed. So to get in and do anything, there's a key that you use to get into the, to reset them or change the battery out. There is a 5-year lithium battery inside. We do recommend that if you replace the battery, you replace it with another lithium battery for environmental. Okay. So this is just an overview of some of the features. Like I mentioned, the ratings for the outdoor environment. So the housings are NEMA 3R rated, but the electronics package inside is completely NEMA 4X. So that is a nice feature for us. Another nice feature is that these also can do 10 temporary codes regardless of which model, and the temporary codes can be set for 1 to 9 uses. So if you have a service person that you need to be able to get into that gate operator or that commercial door operator, you can set them up to be used 2 times or 1 time or up to 9 times. And once they've utilized their times, then it's eliminated and that's a freed space. This is a security keypad. So when you do the 5 codes, it does only get programmed to 1 operator, but 5 users get to operate that operator with their own unique code. Really nice feature for commercial environments, because if you've got employees, and let's say, or contract employees, and you need to remove a code, you can remove a single code without impacting the rest of the users, and they can all still get into the access point, and now that person's access has been removed. So that's why it's called a security keypad. Both of them have this feature. The other thing that we're getting is really good range. So I will point out something, is the antenna is completely enclosed in here. Do not try to pull it through the weep holes on the bottom, all right? It was designed to be completely internal. The range that has been tested, which get about 500 feet, gets that with the antenna completely internal. We don't want to pull that antenna out so that it can get damaged. So, but that's one of the things. I did notice it was very interesting when we were showing this keypad and letting people play with it, and you guys can come up and play with it later, that everybody tried to pull that antenna out. There are little hooks inside the internals of this keypad that hold it in place. So the other thing I want to talk is about on this one. So the KPW5 is Security Plus 2.0 only. That means that it works with all of our newer technology operators. So our Logic 5 commercial door operators, which Frank will be talking about, and all of our Logic, or our Security Plus 2.0 gate operators that are in the market today. Now there are a lot of gate operators, and we have Logic 4 that is out there, and what do we do with those keypads? This one, the KPW250, can also be programmed to be a Security Plus keypad. So you can make it 315 or 390 to work with older technology operators. You can also program this to linear multi-code 300 megahertz. So if you've got a linear receiver on that gate operator or that commercial door operator, you can use this keypad with that as well. You just program it at setup. So it's very, very versatile, nice keypad to have, works with a bunch of different things, and it's very tough for outdoor environments. Okay. All right. Any questions on the keypads? Are you glad they're out? I know I am. Okay. The other thing I'm going to talk about, again, these are just some product updates. You may or may not be well aware of it. We've had a product in the market called the 375LM. It's our universal 2-button remote control. And in January, it got a facelift. So this has been out since January. It replaces the 375LM. This is the 375 UT. UT means Universal Transmitter. You can remember that pretty easily. It's just got a new look. All of the same functionality exists. So it still has the same compatibility with all of the technology out there. It programs the exact same way. It just got a facelift. Same price, everything. Isn't it pretty? Master Burgundy? Yeah. So that's the 375 UT. And that came out in January 2015. So you won't see that 375LM gray one anymore. This is a new brother. All right. So another update. If you have been to, or heard any of my training sessions in the past, I always talk about when you program our MAX transmitters, which are our transmitter line that have some backwards compatibility to older technology. MAX is compatible back to our billion code, which goes back to 1993. I always tell everybody to use the advanced programming instructions, which makes it really simple for an installer to quickly program that button to the technology that it needs to be, and then you program it to the operator. And I win, because they're changing the instructions so that everybody's going to program it that way. So all of the instructions are being updated for both the transmitters and the keypad to now program it in the advanced programming method. It's the most simple way to do it. It's easier. It's less confusing. You're not having to watch all the little buttons flashing or anything. And for commercial application, it really is the right way to do it, because with a garage door opener, you get to look at 2 100-watt light bulbs blinking, or maybe one, but with a commercial logic board or a gate operator board, you're looking for a tiny little LED to flash. And when you're trying to watch the transmitter and look for that little LED, it can get a little difficult. So exactly. So doing the advanced programming method is the best way to do it. All the instructions are being updated, so you'll start seeing that come through on all of these SKUs. So that's our 895 Max, our 890 Max, the Mini, the 893 Max, and the 877 Max, the keypad. So they'll all get new updated instructions. And if anybody wants one of those little cheat sheet cards later, I've got some in my bag, so I can give some of those to you. So I told you I win. I always win. Eventually. Sometimes it takes a couple of years, but I'm patient. Okay, so the other product update is on the commercial side of the business, radios. It's our 811LM. This is our encrypted Dipswitch remote, primarily used with commercial door operators and or gate operators. It's an older technology type remote. It has a Dipswitch connector inside it, so that you change your little switches. So the product bulletin that came out last year is on this remote. What happened is they changed the firmware of the remote control, because it does have firmware because it is encrypted, in November of 2013. So now the receiver actually sees it as a different remote. So Dipswitch technology is you just change the dip switches and you match everything. You only have to learn one in. If you match the dip switches, it just sees the same transmitter over and over again. With anything programmed from our factory after November of 2013, the receiver sees it differently. Where this is going to fall into play is if you installed one of our 850LM receivers on an operator prior to November of 2013 and loaded some transmitters in, some 811 transmitters, and the homeowner or the property manager calls you and says, hey, you know, I need 5 more transmitters. If you match the dip switches, the receiver won't recognize it because it looks like a different transmitter. What you need to do, if you run into this, is program 1 from each date code in. So you'll take up 2 slots on the receiver memory, use the same dip switch so you don't have to pay attention to it, but now it recognizes both code types. What it really did is the firmware calls this button 1 because it's a 1-button transmitter. And when they changed the firmware, they made a change on it that called it button 2, so the receiver is looking for a different button. Simple mistake, but this is the best way to accommodate it without having to get all the transmitters back. They all still perfectly work fine. We just want to make sure that you're aware of this issue. It was actually discovered in Michigan, and we've run into it a couple of times. Not very often, but we've run into it a couple of times, so I just want to make everybody aware of it. All right. Any questions on that? Did I make it more confusing? Hope not. All right, the other one is on the other dip switch remote. Actually happened at the same time, but we weren't aware of it. So there is no service bulletin on it, but it is basically the same thing. When they did the firmware change, they also affected the firmware on this one. This is another encrypted dip transmitter. This is our open-close stop transmitter, the 813LM, primarily used in commercial door operators for open-close stop functionality on the door. Same problem. Unfortunately, on this one, you can't change the dip switches and they both work because this is open, close, stop. What it did when they did the firmware change, it reversed the open and close. So what we do if you do run into this, again, we haven't had anybody run into this. We figured it out on our own. No customers have been impacted by this, but I just want you to be aware that if that happens and you do have older remotes prior to November of 2013, call me up, call up my tech support, let them know that you have that issue with the 813LM. We will actually swap out the original transmitters and get you all new ones from a later date code. So you can only have one date code in there to run the open close stop with that Logic 4 operator or Logic 5 operator. Now, why this has not been found anywhere is this product has been out since 2013, but Logic 5 didn't come out until last year. So there really wasn't any Logic 5 operators out there to be impacted, but if you did put an 850LM receiver, external receiver, to do open close stop, you might run into it. So again, it hasn't shown up yet, but we did discover that it will do that, so I just want to make everybody aware of it. So if you do run into it and it's not working right, that's your problem. The other thing on this one, I talk about programming to multiple operators. The original design of the actuator button, that's the actual things that you press, was such that if you pressed hard enough, you could actually activate the other button. Now, on open close stop, if you're using that functionality, it doesn't affect it because the open is the primary command, so it ignores the second command. If you've got this transmitter programmed to 3 operators, you could potentially, by pressing the middle button, open this one and then any operator program to the yellow button. So again, very rare. We ran into it at a fire department. I believe the main button was opening the main door and the ambulance door. And it's just, if you press hard enough, you could activate it. So firemen, typically pretty strong guys, and typically there's an emergency, so they're pressing really hard. So that's why we found it. So we've already corrected the plastics, and you won't run into it after, I think, this month, Frank? But I just wanted you to be aware, if you're using this to run multiple doors, you might run into that. Let us know. We can swap out those remotes as well. Okay. One other quick update on our Passport receiver. Any sites using button filtering, and that's if you're filtering out a single button to be only used for the gate so that a homeowner can use another button for their garage door. You'll need to make sure that if you're using Passport Max transmitters that you've got an updated Passport receiver. It needs to be version 1.02. Nice thing about this receiver, as soon as you power it up, the first thing that shows up on the screen is its version. So it'll tell you what version it is, and you can actually find it in the menu as well. So just make sure you need to do that. If you do run into this, just let our tech support know that you are using button filter and you need an updated receiver, and we'll take care of you. And the HomeLink repeater program, I just want to give you a quick update on that one. So they changed the name of the repeater to the compatibility bridge. There are new part numbers for ordering it, the HomeLink bridge and the HomeLink bridge 4-pack. There is a new website for this, and there's and dealer extranet pages, so you can get more information on this. But the really cool thing that we've done is an app. So rather than trying to figure out if a car has the most updated HomeLink in it to work with our operators, you can go on this, get this app on your phone, type in the make and model and year of the car, and it'll tell you whether or not it's compatible and if you'll need a bridge. So it's a quick, easy app to let you know if you're going to need one of those bridges when you go out to your site. That program is still in place with us, so that if you give a free compatibility bridge or repeater to your customer, you will get a free one back. LiftMaster supports that with Gentex, and Gentex actually pays for that program. But that's still available. I just wanted to give you an update on the part numbers and the new app. If you need the new app, go to bridge.liftmaster.com. It actually comes up as a little, save it as an image on your phone, and it works on iPhone. If you want to see it, I have it on my phone. I can show it to you later. Oh, that one got kind of messed up. So one of the things that I get quite often is what's the difference between Security Plus and Security Plus 2.0. So these are the main differences between them, but the one that I'm going to talk about, the one that confuses people the most, is the frequency. So because our new Security Plus 2.0 is on a tri-band, which is 310, 315, and 390, and our older technology, Security Plus, was on 315 and 390, people get confused to think that those are compatible to each other. They are not. Security Plus 2.0 is a unique code type. It's different than Security Plus. We just put it out on that same frequency band, all right? I just need to make sure that's clear. That gets a lot of confusion. The Security Plus 2.0 is unique in the fact that when we send our unique code, we are sending it on 3 frequencies simultaneously. That is to help us with interference with different electronics that are in the area at the time. So if something's going on 315, the 310 or the 390 are most likely able to get through. You don't have to do anything. It's all doing it for you behind the scenes. I just want everybody to be aware of it. It is the most common question I get is on that, because the frequencies are the same. Different codes. And that's all I have. I did get a question from the group earlier, and it was on our Wi-Fi. So if you're actively using our MyQ technology, you might have seen some crazy notifications if you had notifications set up in your phone and you're using it. That was when we did an update, we did a mass update to our servers. There was an issue, and it created those fake notifications. Everybody that has a myliftmaster.com account and had notifications engaged got those same 5 texts. It was pretty funny in the office because we all got them at the same time, like trying to figure out, I think it was something butterfly, I don't know, remember. And then we've been doing some major overhauling on our servers to better support more customers. So we've had a couple of times where our site came down, but I think we're getting pretty stable. We've been basically everybody, all hands on board, working on getting that updated. So please bear with us as we make it better for future going products. Yep. Yes, that is true. And I got permission to tell you guys, even though it's not out yet. So we have a new product coming out in August. It's going to be on our 8550, which is our battery backup unit, belt drive. And it's going to be a new board where there's a Wi-Fi chip actually built into the board. So you won't need a gateway anymore. And in fact, it can be your gateway for other devices. So if you've got 2 garage door openers and a gate operator, and you're all doing MyQ, and you swap out one of those operators with the new 8550W for Wi-Fi, you don't need your gateway plugged into your router anymore. It now talks to your router via Wi-Fi and becomes your gateway for your other garage door opener and your gate operator. So that's coming out in August. It'll be the 8550W. It will replace the 8550. And the other ones are going to follow behind it through the next, I think, 3 to 6 months. So all of those MyQ operators will switch to be Wi-Fi. I believe the Elite series is the first to go. So you'll start seeing some communications on that. That's new. It hasn't really been launched yet, so Service Spring gets a little, way to go, Paul. So that's coming out in August. It's the 8550W. Any questions on that? Yes, sir. Yes, it does. Okay, the question was, will the board be different from the 8550 to the 8550W? And yes, it will. I also got a question that, can you swap it? I'm not sure yet. I'm going to have to get an answer for that. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you. I'll be sitting over there later if you want, if something comes up.